Okay, here's the video. The personal inside look into my second place at the British Hill Climb Championships 2023. It's taken me a while to get my thoughts down on paper, hence why it's taken 4 or 5 days to get this video out, and I wanted to do it properly. It's going to be a bit different from some of the amazing videos we've seen from the weekend already. Those are incredible, just shows the level of support that this event has now got. And I just wanted to make sure that I had all of my thoughts together to give you the best possible video to summarize and to give you my learnings and my thoughts, because it's pretty important in my opinion. So if you've enjoyed this series in any way, please subscribe if you're new, like the video, and yeah, just sit back and enjoy it in its entirety.
Well, welcome to the video, everybody. We are here on top of the struggle. Three days? Yeah, we got about 3 days, I think. There's the sign, there's the struggle sign, and there's the climb. Isn't it just beautiful? So I've obviously come for a little recce ride, mainly because we've driven here, 6 hours, give or take. We drove most of the way last night, then we kept in the van, and then we drove the rest of the way this morning. It's like 1 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. So this is going to be like my last sort of interval session, if that's what you want to call it. Like the last time I'm going to go hard. This last bit, this last 2.5-3 minutes is the bit where I want to be familiar with like where the finish line is, which is like just over there. So like when it comes to like the actual day, and there's crowds of people here, no doubt, then I'll know this bit so well, hopefully, that I won't like end up in a situation where I'm like, you know, where's the finish? Like, I need the finish line to come, you know, is it here? No, it's not, I'm gonna keep going. There's a better view. You can see the road now. There's nothing like coming out and riding the real thing, you know, like, I'm glad I've come in now a couple of days before maybe everybody else has travelled here, and got a quiet ride in on this climb so that I'm very familiar with the tarmac and the sheep as well. There's sheep on the road, although hopefully they won't be here on the day, but you never know. But that was a good session, 1.5 hours with nearly 100 TSS and approximately 15 minutes spent, like over 400 watts to warm my legs up, my body, and keep me used to that hard breathing and everything else. So I mean, that is just cool, isn't it? There's bound to be a photographer here. Look at that for the Lake Windermere in the background. Hey, I found Charlie. Well, actually, we've been for coffee. We've had lunch here in Ambleside, and now we're at our campsite. Of course, staying in the van before the Nationals. This is a tried and tested method.
You do look nice.
So this is the van situation. For those that are asking, we're just about to make food. Chickpea curry.
Chickpea and spinach.
Yeah, so we're gonna make 3 meals. It could be over 3 nights before the Nationals. We're gonna have chickpea curry. We're gonna have some sort of pasta dish, and then some sort of like chicken salad with like croutons. Probably have that tomorrow because I'm probably not gonna ride tomorrow, so I'll have that tomorrow. Do you want to tell us about this contraption you bought today?
It's the camp stove toaster.
I mean, for bread, for toast, not for naan breads.
Yeah, well, it does the trick.
The tower of naan bread. Today was a big kind of weight off my shoulders. Maybe it doesn't appear like it because the last couple of weeks or last couple of videos, we've just been like focused on, one thing, just getting after it, and like really narrow focus. But I was a little bit anxious about today, because today was my last sort of session where I would hope that all of my sensations feel good. It doesn't actually mean anything. It doesn't matter. You don't get any fitness gains really from doing that last session. But it's more like for your head. The last one I did was Monday. I felt really good on Monday. I did another one a couple of days before that. I felt really good in that. And that just made me feel like, oh my goodness, like the one that I do when I finally get up here, which I did today, I hope that one feels good. Because if they all feel good and that one doesn't, then it kind of like gives me a little bit of a wobble before the weekend. I've got a sort of a weight lifted off my shoulders, and I can go into the weekend with less of that internal pressure on myself, because I know that I have literally ticked every box now. Welcome to day 2, everybody. Come on, shape. Welcome to day 2, everybody. Charlie's just gone off around the corner to take some photos. She wants to paint. She enjoys painting, and the views around here, they're pretty paintable, right? And it's like 2 in the afternoon now. We've been out all morning. We've had a nice lunch. We've been food shopping, and we've been for a little walk up in Winlatter Forest, which is where I was a couple of weeks ago. Old school. I've had loads of great opportunities. I've ridden my bike in some fantastic places, and this is like the cherry on top of the cake this weekend, but only because it's the last event of the year, really. And I've said once or twice that regardless of the result this weekend, I can be proud of my process and my training and the preparation that has gone into this. And for those of you that have been around just for this journey, maybe you've been immersed in it, and it's taken you along for the ride, and you're a new subscriber here. If you are, then that's really cool. But if this is, this is common for you now, like you've been around for the last couple of years, if you've been around since 2019, when I won the British Champs then much of this is familiar to you. And there was some thoughts that I had, and one that I wanted to share more recently, that really emphasizes the focus on the process, because the focus on the process creates daily opportunities for little victories. These little victories serve as guides on the path of mastery, helping to sustain motivation. Process promotes progress. The progress primes us to persist. But that's what's been going through my mind the last couple of weeks. But something that I read 3 or 4 days ago, which really resonates with me because of what I've been through over the last maybe week, 2 weeks. And I've done less of YouTube, less of social media the last 2 weeks because I've been just trying to get focused on one thing. I've paused my coaching and my other, responsibilities. But this quote from a book called The Magic of Thinking Big goes something like this. Disbelief is as powerful as belief. When the mind disbelieves, it invites reasons to support the disbelief. If you think about doubt, you will fail, but you will succeed if you think of victory. A person is a product of their thoughts. Believe big and launch your journey with a sincere belief that you can succeed. When you believe in yourself, good things can start happening. Channel positive energy always so that you can get positive responses from your mind at all times. To develop the power of belief, you need to think of success, not failure. When you face that difficult situation, think, I'll win, not I'll probably lose. Never sell yourself short, and the level of your success depends on the size of your belief. Now, obviously, I believe in myself. I believe I can win this weekend. And that's what's made me really nervous, I think is the word to use, over the last week. Last Friday, I did a training session, which effectively was a test to see what I would be capable of just going
full gas up a local KOM, which I managed to completely annihilate the time for by a fair chunk, my own time, but the power was way above what I thought it would be. And people who have been, you know, obviously talking about predictions and stuff for this championship, they've been talking about my power numbers from the past, and this effort that I did just a week ago completely changes all of that. But I kept that ride hidden. Here's a clip from me a week ago on Friday.
Hello folks, this is Ed checking in from the past. Today is, what day is it today? Friday, so we're a week and 2 days, so it's 9 days out from the Hill Climb Championships. All being well, this segment will be included in the National Hill Climb Champs video, because today I've done my final bit of testing and I didn't want to make it public on Strava or, you know, put this out there because it's part of the preparation. And in the past, you know, I've shown the nuts and bolts of everything, but this time I wanted to keep some things under wraps. Fully kitted up. I've done a pre-race ride this morning. I've done a warm-up before this hill climb attempt just now. So everything I've done today I will do on the day of the Nationals. And this is the effort. I've actually started it at 1 p.m, which is roughly my start time on the day as well. Can't say I'm not prepared. And this climb, 4.7k, slightly shallower than the struggle. 11 minutes 15 seconds has taken me, an average speed of 25.1 kilometers an hour. My average power is the important bit, 424 watts. Normalized power, 436 watts. This is what really surprised me about today. Obviously we're peaking, but sometimes you surprise yourself. Today was one of those days. 5 minutes, 448 watts, that was the first 5 minutes. My peak 1 minute came in the last minute, 510 watts. And the first initial segment of this climb, which is 8 or 9 minutes long, I probably average about 440 watts, which is the most I've ever done for 8 minutes. Hands down. You know, it's 10 degrees. It's raining. You probably can't tell just how raining it is, how much raining it is. Can you see how wet it is? You can tell how dark the skies are. But yeah, this is a monumental ride, you know, regardless. This is just a normal Friday. Oh my word. I mean, I say this is more than I've ever done. It's not by much, like, you know, 5 or 10 watts, but you're talking 5 or 10 watts on top of what is already like massive power.
But what's made me really nervous, and this is the behind all of that type of insight, is that I know that I'm capable of that. And what makes it really, I guess, what makes me feel like I can't wait to get to the climb on Sunday is that I know that if I get there and all the stars align and I have the same sensations as that ride on Friday and things just like magically fall into place, and that performance that I did on Friday, if I can reenact that on the weekend, I will be extremely proud of myself. What's curious is yesterday when I did a ride on the struggle, my last, I guess, training ride, I did a 9-minute effort at 410 watts. My average heart rate was so low, which has really fallen in line with what has happened over the past few weeks, where that sort of movement between my heart rate and my power has changed. I just feel like yesterday couldn't have gone any better. And if it's all about how you feel and sensations at this level, when you're right on the edge and you put a lot of like emphasis on one goal. I think, you know, having that one goal is extremely powerful. I think maybe lots of people can relate to it, but I think also lots of people can't relate to that single focus on one thing. It's amazing what happens when you do commit to something, just that one thing for 2 or 3 months. It's amazing what you can do. I'm just so excited for Sunday. I just want to fast forward time so we get there. Right, last ride
or last day before the Nationals. So today's ride is just going to be about 90 minutes with maybe 1 or 2 short efforts. We'll head out to Windlatter Pass, and I'll do maybe a couple of minutes there where I get my heart rate up to close to race pace, but nothing prolonged. Save that for tomorrow, obviously. So just to sort of keep myself familiar. So a word on peaking, because ideally, I hope that I'm peaking just at the right time. And if you've been following along the last 8 weeks, you'll probably have seen through the race videos or the training videos during the week that I've been keeping volume relatively high, usually about 15 hours a week, and obviously we'd be racing every weekend, but then we'd be topping up with endurance afterwards, and not neglecting that really, because it's great foundational work. But the last 2 weeks I've really brought that down, the volume, and in doing so it obviously gives me more hours of the day to recover, but it also gives me more time to put more attention into the intensity. So I've done a couple of great workouts over the last 2 weeks where I've really pushed the boat out. One that springs to mind is the 10 by 3 minute interval session I did with 3 minutes recovery, and each of those 3 minutes were done at 430 watts, pretty much on the money all the time. But that was just a 90-minute session, and usually I would have done another 2 hours maybe afterwards just to top it up, but it's mainly been a drop of 50% in volume over the last 2 weeks. So going from 15 hours to 8 hours, give or take, and it's the same this week. Couple of hard sessions at the beginning of the week where I've kept that intensity high, anywhere between 15 and 30 minutes of accumulated time in those sessions. Anyway, I'm going to get onto this ride. I'll catch up with you later. I wanted to spend the next couple of minutes talking about my pacing strategy, because I haven't talked about it specifically over the whole prep for this, because I wanted to save it for this video really. I thought it would be better to save it for this video. So this climb is a difficult one in a sense that it's not just straight up. There's some steep sections, there's some shallow sections, and then there's a very steep section at the end. Now, the majority of the time, the place where you're going to put down the most power is obviously when you're going uphill, and then you're going to save power on the flat section. Now, interestingly, there's a lot of websites out there that can help you sort of build a pacing strategy. Best Bike Split is one, My Windsock is another one. But really, if you know what you're capable of doing for a certain power duration, then you can pretty much get a good ballpark figure without any other outside help. But for the sake of this video, I'm using Best Bike Split. So we can actually see the difference in gradients on this one graph. There's quite a bit of climbing above 6 and 8%, as expected, but then there's also a lot of time spent at that below 0%, so actually downhill. Now you might think, why? It's an uphill, it's hill climb championships, but that's the idea. It throws something else in there. It's something you have to prepare for, and it's something you also have to train for as well to a certain extent. And it does have a corner on this little fast section, so something to bear in mind. Anyway, I'm going to say that if I want to go off and do 450 watts roughly, then I want to put that down at least for the first 5 minutes. Now my best ever 5-minute power, most people know, is about just below 460 watts for 5 minutes. So I'm going to be very close to that. But what I'm then going to do is go straight into the next 3 to 4 minutes on that climb at just below 450. So I'm going to be slowly dying off, but not massively. We're talking 10 watts. But I've got to invest early. The first 8-9 minutes, or that first steep section, I've got to invest very, very heavily in that section of the climb, because that's the main portion of the climb. You could argue there's a bit at the end that I have to focus on, and you're 100% correct. But there's this little section in the middle, which is around about a minute and a half tops, that allows you to recover, not completely recover, but enough to get your breath back. So I'm going to aim to just tuck up there, use my road skills and get a little bit aero, and maintain speed. Speed is key there. It doesn't really matter about power, it's all about my speed. So first section, gonna concentrate, try and get into that rhythm at 450 watts, give or take. Get through that flat section, or the fast section we're gonna call it, and then hit that last bit. And that last minute will take us about just over 2 minutes, all in. And that's where most people are gonna be standing, I know, but it's all in. So if I'm starting to fade there, ideally, not that it doesn't matter, there is time to be gained there, of course, but even if I lose time there, I want to invest more early on, where I'm actually spending the majority of my time climbing. So if I'm going to be climbing this section, it's going to take 8 to 9 minutes. You know, the time I'm going to gain there, or the effort I'm going to invest there, is the way to look at it, is going to pay off in that last section, I hope. So even if I start to fade in that last section, I'm not going to lose as much time as if I held back over that first big section, if you get my drift. So that's going to be the very rough pacing strategy. And I'll know within the first couple of minutes. I'll know if I'm able to do that or not. And that's going to be crucial. That's what's making me nervous. Like, I need to get 2 or 3 minutes into the effort tomorrow. And once I get to that 3 minute mark, I'm going to be like, this is the day. Making use of the bike wash facility here at the campsite we're staying at. Highly recommend. This is Burns, I think, caravan and camping site. There's some luxury pods right there, which we were like, oh, should we stay in one of those the night before? So highly recommend. And it's just about a couple of miles outside Keswick, so about a 30-minute drive to the Nationals in the morning, but pretty easy, to be honest. So bike's all clean. A couple of things to do: take the mudguard off, take the lights off, swap the lights for my light, put my race wheels on, and put the newer, less mileage Shimano Dura Ace 12-speed waxed chain using the Silka stuff. So that's it. Bike is ready. I'm ready. Bring on tomorrow now, I suppose.
7-6. Do you want me to check your number? You want me to check your number? 478.
How are you doing?
Good.
You must be one of the really fast ones. You're at the back end. Yeah, that's good then. Excellent. All is good. And brakes work all right, yeah?
I think so.
You think so? That's good. That's a good start. Right.
The descent.
So as you can see, the ground's a bit wet. There's leaves and bits of debris around, so just be aware it's a bit slippy. There is a couple of bits where there's oil patches as well. You just need to be aware of that. On the descent, there's a pothole, but it's marked out by a cone, so you should be able to see it.
Yeah, it's on the left.
Yeah. As we kind of getting evidence here, there is access and egress rights to some of the holiday homes in the first quarter. So even though it's a closed road, there might be some traffic just to be aware of. And then just for the fun of it, the sheep have decided to join in and cross onto the road as well. So just be aware of sheep. All right.
It's like being home.
Yeah. So other than that, you should be good to go. As soon as you feel able at the top, just clear out the finish line and get your stuff either at the car park or make your way back down the descent.
Thank you.
All right. 480.
Come on, Ed. Come on. Come on.
Got it, keep it going. Keep it going, fella. Keep it going. That's it. Go on, Ed. Come on, Ed! Come on, Ed! Go on, Ed! 2 more percent! 2 more percent! Go, 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 go! Go ahead, go ahead, go, go, go! You've got this! Yes, Ed! Come on, Ed! Come on, Ed! Ed's more good!
So what a way to end. I hope you haven't skipped through all of that and just watched the racing, and you've got some context of my performance up until the day of the event and during the event. And now I want to talk about post-event. I want to talk about the fallout, not the fallout, like how I've been and what we've learnt, and how this is possibly the best thing that could have happened, which sounds completely daft saying it, but like the reception that I've had and the support that I've had has literally been like overwhelming. So my honest feelings about how the day went is that it couldn't have gone any better. I said on Strava, like straight away after the event, I wrote a little paragraph of how I felt, and obviously that was my emotion in the moment. Completely gutted, completely distraught, like empty, like just completely out of it, really. I just couldn't see myself finishing second. And this is the mindset that I'd put myself in, you know. I'd gone from complete confidence to almost complete disbelief, a massive swing between the two. So my natural ride from the day was the best performance I'd ever achieved in my life. Obviously, in a training session in the week prior to the Hill Climb Champs, I'd gone very close to what I'd done at the event itself, but the event itself was a real chance and a real step for me to push on, and I did achieve the greatest performance of my career over, obviously, a 12-minute effort. So I think my normalized power was close to 440 watts for 12 minutes, 6 seconds. I had a very strong first 8 minutes, close to 450 watts, and the first 5 minutes was even stronger. It was very close to my best, or what I think is my best 5-minute power, but of course I haven't tested that. So in theory, everything has gone up a level because of this effort that I've done, I did today, or in this video. And then my finishing effort, the final 2 minutes, couldn't have been better. 480 watts, 490 watts, and then the last 30 seconds I was doing like 550 watts out of the saddle. I finished very, very strong, but also finished completely empty. Like I hadn't left anything out there. The pacing was just perfect. Everything was just brilliant, and a couple of minutes into that race, I knew that I was on for a very good day. But when I crossed the finish line, I collapsed. just like most of us did. And I was sort of slumped against a van, and what felt like 5 seconds, but actually it was more like 42 seconds passed when the eventual winner, Andy Feather, came through, and I knew there and then that I hadn't gone faster or fast enough, and that was it. The emotion, like there was no emotion obviously during the race. You just fully focused on the effort, and then afterwards I was like gone. I was just gone. I was out of it. And people were coming up to me afterwards and they were congratulating me for the ride, and they didn't even know what the result was. Well, technically I didn't know what the result was yet properly, but yeah, it was quite an emotional like descent down. It took me an hour to get back to the headquarters, to do like 4 kilometers to get back down. And I saw Charlie, and it was quite hard because seeing Charlie, and she didn't know, and it wasn't until I told her that we didn't get it, that was a difficult moment, because obviously she's been through everything the last 3 months, particularly with me, and supported me, and it was just a difficult moment. And to be honest, the few hours afterwards were quite difficult, being on the podium and just being like not even present on the podium or in the sort of being with people. I just felt like I was empty. There's no other way to describe it. I never felt like that way before. Never hit me like that before. Totally new. But the positives, because this is a positive video. Actually, this is a very positive video. Belief and confidence can be a blessing, it can be a curse. I hope there's lots of young riders, maybe aspiring young riders, or even riders, of any age or ability, who are watching this, and I want you to know that confidence is not to be confused with being cocky. Confidence is not delusional. Confidence is needed when you're pushing for your best performance, or your, like to win. It doesn't matter even if you are trying to win. And I think if you can't be confident when you're in the best shape of your life, when can you be confident? Like, you can't expect confidence to come from nowhere either. You have to work at it, and you have to build consistency to also build confidence. Other people can be confident in you. 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people can be confident in you and your ability. But that really means nothing. Like, you have to be confident in yourself, and because you're the one that has to do it. You're the one that has to believe in your own ability. And that's what I did. I was in total belief and total confidence that I would be able to do what I did on that day, and was obviously believing that would be enough to win. Now, how did I think that would be enough to win? And this is something that, over the last couple of weeks building up to the Nationals, you try not to look at what other people are doing, but you can't help yourself. You look at what other riders are doing, what their training is, what their race numbers are, how they're performing against other people. And that's not just one or two individuals, you're looking at like lots of people, because there's people like Harry Hudson, for example, shout out, who finished with a very, very, very good time for a junior rider, almost basically rivaling the senior podium. And there's riders like that you have to watch for. It's not just 1 horse race, 2 horse race, 3 horse race, whatever. There's riders everywhere. So I was confident as well with that. I was watching other people, and I was like, ooh, like my numbers are looking really good at the minute, and if I can pull something out of the bag, even in the build-up, then if I can produce something on the day that's even better than what I've been doing in the previous weeks, and I've been doing this well in the previous weeks, then surely I'm going to be in for a very, very good performance on the day of the Nationals, which obviously I was. I produced the best performance I could ever do, and that's, again, that is the important bit. You've all been giving me a taste of my own medicine, and because of that, you've understood the assignment. You've understood like what is required to achieve your potential. Maybe you've been watching these videos long enough now. You know that you have to invest in yourself and your own ability to achieve those things. And I, not just Harry, I want to take a moment to acknowledge some other people as well. Now, of course, there's the amazing organisers, the event. It was incredible, like the fact that we were able to get that climb for ourselves, and just so many people out there, like that's what makes the day. But yeah, I want to acknowledge Andrew Feather, who took the win for an exceptional ride, exceptional performance. I didn't underestimate him. I wouldn't be competing at this level of the sport without knowing the level that I'm competing against. And people love this battle. I guess this is a rare insight into it, but people love this battle that us as riders are having at the top of this at the top level. Then, but not just us. Across the board, there's other riders as well. Illy Gardner taking the women's title as well, and I think two other riders who I spotted did tremendous efforts at the other end of the spectrum. So a guy called Jeff, who did the climb on a hand bike, and then a rider called Imi, who actually, I think it was her first hill climb, and she had to stop 3 times, and it took her half an hour, and she was completely exhausted, but she loved it. And these stories from completely opposite ends of the spectrum are what makes this sort of branch of the sport so cool. I think, after the podium ceremony, I was still feeling a little bit sort of completely lost in all of it. And it didn't help that there were so many people there, and I was kind of completely away with the fairies, so to speak. But when the crowds dispersed and everyone went back to their cars and everybody drove off, I actually went up to Andrew afterwards, and we had a really good chat to exchange congratulations and condolences. And that was important for me to do. It was a little bit of closure for the day, that I was able to just have a one-to-one. And you always have to try and respect people. You always have to, regardless of the outcome, be humble in victory and defeat, and it makes you a better person, in the long run. And like I said, that closure was really important for me to just sort of seal that day. Sort of going away from there and not sort of having that moment where we could just, share feelings and talk about it. It would have been difficult for me to sort of move on from that. So that was good. That was really good. Now, you guys, you've really got behind me in this. I've seen a different side of, this is not just a YouTube channel. I've seen a different side of what a community really is, even in the face of the result, because, I made it obvious I was going there to win. And you showed that you've got my back through thick and thin. You're so invested in it. It felt like you were probably on the bike with me. A lot of people were devastated and gutted that I couldn't pull off the win in the end. But although there was no Netflix ending, I think, you all felt in some way connected to what I was maybe trying to achieve. But like I said earlier, you've given me a taste of my own medicine. We've spoken about how it was important that I had self-respect for my own effort on that day, because that was the most important thing. Everything was perfect, couldn't have produced any more power if I tried. And to be honest, my responsibility actually stretches far beyond my cycling abilities, because I need to be a role model for all ages and abilities that follow this journey. And I need to show responsibility with the following that I have to show the good, the bad, you know, the highs and the lows. And at the end of the day, you're going to come up with something that's going to test your commitment and faith and the belief in yourself, the confidence in yourself. And Inky Johnson said, I define commitment as staying true to what I said I was going to do long after the mood I said it in has left. And even if things don't go well, are you still going to stay true to it? Although we had a perfect build-up, you know, we actually have to think now, things didn't go our way, but are we still going to be committed to it? Are we still going to keep going? Are we still going to keep pushing? Are we still going to try and find those last few things? And now we move into the off season, and it's time to do something different. It's time to, you know, reset, but try to push myself more than ever before into 2024. And I hope you'll be along for that journey as well. But we're definitely going to come back stronger. We're going to come back with more determination. So that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've enjoyed this journey. I really appreciate you watching, especially if you've watched this whole video. So thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you next time.